When it comes to mountain bike upgrades, few things are quite as controversial as carbon wheels. They promise lower weight, better stiffness, and improved ride feel. But do they actually make a noticeable difference, or are we just paying for fancy materials? Well, today we're putting that question to the test with some back-to-back laps on my Superior XF 929RC, comparing the stock aluminum wheels to a pair of carbon DT Swiss XRC 1501s, which themselves cost almost as much as the entire rest of the bike. First, I'll weigh the bike with both wheel sets to see just how much of a difference carbon really makes. Then I'll do a subjective ride test, swapping between aluminum and carbon wheels to see if I can feel any changes in handling, speed, and overall ride quality. And finally, to bring some hard data into the mix, I'll do a controlled hill climb sprint to see how my times compare with each set of wheels. So without further ado, let's find out if carbon wheels actually do make a difference, or if they just make the difference of your wallet feeling quite a lot lighter. All right, so we're setting off lap 1 on the Superior XF 929RC. We have the bike with its stock alloy wheels, and the bike comes in weighing about 27.5 pounds, or that's 12.5 kilograms. So already pretty stinking light without the carbon. So it will be really interesting to see if once we swap the wheels, if it makes that much more significant of a weight change, ride feel, speed, all that. Climbing efficiency, we'll see. Well, I'm definitely building a lot of familiarity on this bike. I've been on it for the last couple months now and got to take it out a fairly decent amount. It's a lot of the winter riding out here in Oregon. We have more like XC trails. Definitely some fun downhill stuff too, but some good stuff to take this bike down. This is the same section of trail we tested out the dropper post video, which you should check out if you haven't already. It's a great trail for testing because it has a little bit of everything, a little flow, a little exposure, as we're seeing right there. Has some climbs, some descents, rocks, a little of everything. River views, mountain views on a clear day. Unfortunately, that day is not today. But it makes a great testing trail. But there's the river view and the wind. Yeah! All right, on your mark, get set, go! All right, I am gonna do a little hill sprint here. So, see how these compare. We're on the alloy first and foremost, charging. Yeah! All right, let's go. Let's see how we do. Do some adjustment. Woo! Getting a little steeper. Not too bad. Woo. And stop. Woo. Oh, that gets the heart rate going. Woo. What was it? 56.6. What was it? 56.6. Oh, okay. So now that we're back from lap 1 and we have a baseline for how the stock alloy wheels feel, it's time to swap them out for some carbon hoops. The DT Swiss XRC 1501 wheels I'll be using today are actually taken off the Superior XF 929 Issue R, which is this bike's more premium sibling. Both the Issue R and this, the Superior XF 929RC, are thoroughbred XC bikes. Despite its affordable price tag, the 929RC I'm using for today's test has everything you need to get on top of the podium, including a lightweight carbon frame, 12-speed Shimano drivetrain, and remotely lockable suspension from RockShox and DT Swiss. But will carbon wheels actually make it feel much faster? Well, one thing's for sure, it's definitely lighter, shaving a little over 1 pound or 0.6 kilograms off the already impressive weight. Reducing rotational weight like this is especially important as it has a bigger impact on performance than just making the bike lighter overall. Since wheels are constantly spinning, any extra weight there takes more effort to get moving and slow down. These new lighter wheels should help me accelerate faster, climb easier, and handle better through tight corners and rough terrain. Plus, with less effort needed to keep the bike rolling, you won't get as tired on long rides. But how noticeable will this actually be in the real world? Well, let's get out there and find out. Okay, so we are ripping on the new carbon wheels. These DT Swiss bad boys. So with the change, we dropped about a pound, a little over a pound. So the bike is now weighing in at 26.3 pounds, which is about 12 kilograms. So we'll see if that actually feels significant. Immediately, I'm not noticing a huge difference, but we're also on a really smooth section. So we're gonna get to some rocks, a little more technical here in a second. And I feel like that's where the difference will be felt the most, especially on some climbs. All right, this is kind of the first fun little zippy section. It does feel a little agile, a little more agile, like it's handling slightly better. But I am excited. First rocks. See what we find through some of this more techy, rocky stuff. Which I gotta say, I'm one of those people that's pretty hard on a bike. So carbon freaks me out for that reason. Just that I feel like I'm gonna break it, which is probably totally a myth. Maybe that's another video. Is it a myth? Phew. So ride feel is pretty subjective. I'm excited about the hill sprint because that is objective data. Can't mess with those results. But, you know, I do kind of feel like there's a suppleness. I'm not 100% sure if that's just placebo or if that's carbon, baby. That's carbon, baby. Now, what we really need to do is take these tests to the races. But I'm not an XC racer, so if somebody else want to volunteer for that, that'd be great. Josh, where are you at? On your mark, get set, go! All right, we are starting our hill sprint. I will talk for one more second and then I'm gonna focus on sprinting. Last time with the alloy wheel set, we got 54 seconds. So we're seeing if we can beat that. Let's go. And stop. All right, what'd I get? Yeah. Okay, so last time with the alloy wheel set, it was 54, right? 56 seconds, okay. So that felt faster. Let's say 50. Faster. Okay, 43. Close, 44. 44! So over 10 12 seconds difference. Dang, okay. Okay, I was saying already, I wasn't sure if I was feeling much difference yet, but that is where you are gonna be able to actually tell. That's hard data, can't mess with that. All right, with that, let's get back to the trailhead and kind of debrief that a little bit more. I'm excited. So there you have it, another test done and dusted. This one was pretty interesting, and I'm feeling really comfortable on this XF929 RC. It's been like super fun to do these back-to-back tests. If you didn't already check out the video we made about if a dropper post really matters, go back and check that out because we also did it on the XF929 RC. But it was interesting findings with this one, right? Like about a pound difference. I feel like I did feel that on the trail. At the beginning, I wasn't feeling it quite as much, just during some of the rollier, flowy, chill section. But as soon as I did my first climb, I could feel the difference. It was just easier to maneuver. It felt a little bit more supple. And I'm even questioning myself, like, is that actually a thing? But I do think that I could sense a little bit of that. Again, it wasn't a huge difference. I loved how it was feeling with the alloy wheel set, so take that with a grain of salt. What I do think will be interesting is seeing how it actually races, because as you saw with the sprint time, that hillside sprint, I mean, 12 seconds in 1 minute, that is a pretty significant difference. If you're looking to get that podium, then it might be worth looking into a carbon wheel set. I guess those numbers don't lie. But at the end of the day, you gotta weigh that weight savings with the weight of your wallet and how you want that to feel at the end of the day also. So if you're looking for a more budget option, honestly, the alloy wheels, they'll take you where you need to go. So that's that. If you have any questions or comments that you'd like to make, maybe you have a preference strongly for carbon or alloy, I'd love to see that comment down below. While you're down there, like and subscribe to Bikes Online, where I'll be hanging out after you've done that. Get out there, grab your bike with whatever wheel set you got, and get ripping.